Hi there. I've been in search amongst my various video toys of one that would work consistently. I wanted the flower lady, but too much flashing. So here goes. This journal is from February 6th. And the Mayan day was 10 Crocodile. That's pretty powerful. 10 because it's towards the end when you're having a culmination of the Tricina. And Crocodile is the very first of the sun signs. So here goes. It can get a bit strange writing the journals because I recorded 3 of them today. It seems as if I wrote one, so it feels kind of odd that this is the first journal of the day. Oh well. I'm content for time to be or feel strange like that, and in any way at all. Since I know it's not real, not in the way we view it, I enjoy looking at it with fresh eyes all the time, just waiting to be surprised in some way. I find this awakening journey like a trek into the past in a way, for I feel more and more childlike as I move on into it. That sense of childlike wonder is much easier to experience these days. Are you noticing something like that? I notice more of such things, possibly through living alone. When you're with your own company all the time, what else is to notice? I look to others to share with me what their life of relationships has taught them, for those are the more rare experiences for me. We all need each other, being incomplete in the singular, yet whole in the one. Life is amazing here in 3 and 5D. And you know, that's interesting about whole being complete as WHOLE, but you take off the W and you have the emptiness of the HOLE, which is very much like nowhere, and you insert a space and you get now here. Words. These are not accidents, my friends. Okay. Non-attachment. Is that a Buddhist thing? It has the ring of it, but I don't know, never having studied that. Well, in this lifetime, this embodiment anyway. Once upon a time, I would have been fascinated to take up such study. I was interested in philosophy, in logic, but rather put off by how very mental it was, how cold and not full of fire like I was. So instead, I was drawn to those hearts of fire who had something to say. Ralph Waldo Emerson is one of my favorites, but even him I didn't make a deep study of. Instead, just enjoying his essays. I found his poetry disappointing, but then poetry isn't easy. It takes a gift, something quite special. Lately, I've been reading the Ramayana, which is a poem of over 1,000 pages, whose rhyme and verse flow like liquid gold, unnoticeable as you follow the story, the text of it. It's close to pure perfection when the rhyming isn't awkward in any way and the story flows so beautifully. It's truly amazing. Why is it, I've been wondering, that it seems we get what we want only when we no longer desire it? What strange thing is that functioning there? It seems consistent enough to be some sort of cosmic law or another, some property of advanced physics not yet discovered on Earth, like the one that will explain Murphy's Law to us. Very strange. Things spiritual don't seem to come when they are desired, but only once they're surrendered and the embers of desire quite gone out of them. Strange. Then two, when they come, they are never what one thought they would be, but rather something stranger than that. It makes something much less than useful of the mind where such desires generate. Poor mind. It doesn't realize that it's conjured up something quite unlike the thing it thinks it wants. Yet, how can it know? There's really no way that I know of yet. Now, you might notice me tacking on the word yet in many places. I'll explain it once here. It's because of my respect for language and the hexes and curses we bind ourselves with in our unaware use of it. I'll put in a link for you to a journal that's on that topic. Sufficiently psychic to be tuned in, I had to take a break. The kitty was distracting me. I tell you, it's a challenge in order to enjoy my rainbows as I do. I have a windowsill lined with all kinds of faceted lead crystal. And I have bird feeders out front. And so, of course, kitties want to be up there seeing that. And I've made space for them, but, you know, kitties don't like to be corralled very much. Okay, thus, by saying the word yet, I have not closed the door on something so that it may yet appear. Do you see? Not locking myself down. I desire to keep all options as open as possible in honoring my belief that truly anything is possible. Well, it won't be if we unknowingly tie ourselves up in knots with our words. So enough of that. And again, let's look at the word knot, K-N-O-T. And of course, you take the K off and you've got knot, N-O-T. And if you replace the T at the end with a W, you've got no. I mean, there's just, and then you've got the N-O of no. There are so many things hidden in our words, and it's so much fun to play with this. Start noticing. Okay. I am so love-filled at times, I somehow lose myself. What is the self anyway? Can anyone point it out? It's not the body nor the mind, so what does that leave us with? I question literally all of quote-unquote reality at this point, and I'm loving living like this. My sense of freedom expands. It's so nice to be taking down more and more of the prison bars of my cage. Old beliefs, awareness of the language. Now, there's a strange sort of thing that happened that I'm curious to try to explain, and I don't see how words can do that, but here goes anyway. It's got to do with Papa G, the one I accepted as teacher or guru, and what happened after that. Whatever it was that happened, now I can't find him anywhere. And it's very strange. There was a sort of merging that was truly intense, deeply moving. In that instant, I experienced my heartbeat as only partially mine. You know how it goes, the thump, the thump. Well, in that moment, I actually experienced Papa G as a part of that. He was the tha, or the thump, and then there was just one without a second, as he says. Now, there is no more Papa G for me. I find it very strange. Inside, I am changing a good bit, but I was before, so it's hard to say what is what. I know that a good part of it is him, is his influence, simply from the subject matter. It's part of his teachings, and it's being practiced in me. It feels rather strange. Now, lest anyone think I've been possessed or some such nonsense. Let that go. It's no such thing, okay? Besides, divine incarnations don't go around possessing people anyway. So leave that aside, if you please. Okay, I see as I've written this, I didn't explain. I can't find him anymore because he's merged with me. That's what I mean by that. I can't find him as a separate individual being anymore. When I look for him, my heart lights up. Okay, now take for example my prayer life. Now it isn't much, and what there is, I've shared with you in a number of journals, even reading the words of the prayers into them. Those three that have remained. I've only had those three, along with a little affirmation I sometimes say, and that was that. No more rosaries or litanies, no bhajans or such, though I've enjoyed all of these. Well, now, even those prayers are pretty well gone. They just went away. I have no desire to say them anymore. And gosh, it is odd. Once again, a new relationship with Source or God is being worked out, or the old one being adjusted. I don't know. It is disconcerting considering that the topic is as big a one as can be found, it seems to me. It gets right to the heart of reality and of one's personal reality. I guess it's all of a piece with everything else. As I've shared recently, the sense of worthlessness is something that's come up for me to let go of. The work, the joy in spreading one's wings and expanding out into a larger and larger quote unquote definition of quote unquote self also plays a part in this mix. There's no way we can truly take up our inner throne in the kingdom of heart until this worthlessness is banished from the kingdom entirely. Actually, I would have written that differently. Worthlessness can't get in there. So you just can't get fully in until that's let go of. So it all goes together. This work on the garden of belief, on one's personal belief system, is so powerful. It has far-reaching effects. Major changes can be made, yet never quite in the way that mind may think. We cannot know ahead of time what will be the effect of taking on this or that new belief, or eliminating an old one. That plays itself out in our experience, in our life. Life itself and reality are much more malleable than most of us yet realize. It's more like a dream than it is a reality. The dark ones know this and they work with it, but such knowledge and practice is kept hidden in secret just for them. Ha! Well, let them do what they will. It is now our day and age, my friends, and we will come on these things for ourselves, tutored each one in our own inner kingdom where we reign, just not quite consciously yet. Truth cannot be hidden from the elect, from the pure of heart, from the light beings who are sincere. And actually, we are truth. Life itself finds ways to reveal these things. We need not be students at the feet of the dark ones for anything. Our inner teachings are pure, where what they have that's been passed down is tainted and tinged with their impure use of it, their unclean motive. Thanks, but no thanks. That's what can come in the search for pure power. It's no easy path, with many a temptation to set aside integrity and honor, to gain prestige, position, and the rest that the power-hungry seem to crave. We have before us on this planet the tapestry of the end of one such search. The powers that were went the wrong way very consistently in their search. We're watching their ways and their powers fall apart. This is now an age when that which is founded on integrity and honor will prevail, and when everything else will crumble into nothingness. So many major choices are going on now behind the scenes. It's an amazing time. Pray for everyone when and if you pray. There are many among the powers that were who can yet be converted back to the light. Just like us, many of them have forgotten who and what they are. They too can awake. I can't tell you, my friends, what it's like to be me right now. I'm realizing how very much of my heart and soul I poured into those few simple prayers, especially those said morning and night. Like bookends, they framed my waking and sleeping life, cradled it in the arms of the divine. They weren't just words to me, they were so much more. This gets right down to who and what I am and what is life. What is it all about? This is the foundation work in the land of beliefs. Time is accelerating more and more, so don't be surprised to soon or even now find yourself working at such depth. Certain levels of belief must be eradicated first before we get into the depths this way. But all of that just takes care of itself. Still, even working at the so-called lighter or higher levels of beliefs, one can have pretty amazing results. Just keep being open, my friends, and stick close to heart, of course. That accelerates this path tremendously. And by stick close to heart, there's just a devotion, there's a light, there's a love there. And so just be aware of that. I am so hopeful that some among you are keeping a list of those new beliefs you've chosen for yourselves. There will be such amazing sort of things happening, such odd changes in self and life that soon many more will start keeping track this way. A belief diary, we could call it, perhaps. Oh, life can be such fun and so very exciting, and it's all in the little things, really. That's where we notice it all. Anything that takes you out of the now moment, away from what is right in front of your face and your nose, reject it. Tell it to just go away. The divine conversation is carried on via the little things. They're not a bit little, but we have to be seeing and hearing. We have to be hearting them. Do you see? Life really and truly is, or can be, an ongoing conversation with Source. I think there's something roughly on these lines in one of the early Carlos Castaneda books. I remember reading it decades ago and being amazed that every little thing could be read by the shaman, the brujo, in some way. The leaf crossing in front of the path, the bird flying overhead, the fly landing on your nose, anything. You know, we look on the indigenous peoples and their beliefs as somehow primitive. That's a total lie. And that veil has been drawn down over our eyes in order to keep us away from the wisdom that's there for us. I predict that the veil will be lifted from more and more eyes to see through this lie. These people are simply wise, or they have a wisdom transmission and teaching. But we were too full of ourselves and our fancy new technology and society to even be able to see them, to hear them at all. When they speak of the totem, of what the various animals mean to them, they are speaking this language of the divine conversation that I'm experiencing. They know how to read Mother Nature herself, how to interact with her. What could be more sacred than that? This is taken for granted by them, perhaps. Oh, how far we have come from our native roots, my friends. For surely, if we trek back far enough in history, we will find we all have tribal ancestors of one kind or another. Now, we learn to read the signs on our digital clocks, odometers, and various techno toys, but at root, it's the same thing. We're reading the signs. If we would all just stay in heart, we are so very one, underneath all of the stuff layered on top of it by our different societies. We are the family of man, the tribe of many colors, as little grandmother says. I buy that. I am one. We are all taught from within. Yet we must divest ourselves of all the junk we've layered over the top of our soul, our own inner being and spirit. We still exist down in there, whole, complete, even perfect, as you will find. We have so many false beliefs that we've taken on over the centuries, the millennia, that get very much in the way. That is all. It's not so very much. We are divine, my friends. We truly are. It's for each one to discover for the self. It can't be handed out. There's no course you can graduate for a diploma in self. The powers that were thought they had us righteously hogtied and captive to mind, which is territory they very much control. And they did for a while. That while is now over. We are coming out of the hypnotized days more and more, and all over the world. Just like the Occupy Wall Street or Occupy movement went global, it's the same with waking up. It's happening simply everywhere. It's in our biology somehow and cannot be stopped. And I'm stepping out for a moment. Yes, I'm aware that there are all kinds of forces that get in and try to steer and control and co-opt the Occupy movement. The people, if we will stick to our hearts, it's much greater than that, and it won't be co-opted. Those are old methods that rely on no integrity and no honor, and we will see through that and brush it off like a fly. The simple beauty of it is that we can escape literally all of the programming and all of the garbage we've been tied down with in one simple way. Can you guess? I bet you can. Just go into heart. Leave head behind. It's really that simple. And the trick is that heart is so much more powerful than mind ever dreamed of being, so that the things of mind are easily dissolved. It takes very little time at all. Actually, many are waking up instantly. That's always been possible, but it is happening more and more. And see, if you have the belief that anything is possible, that leaves you open to it. Whereas if you don't have that belief, then you've got some blinders on that you might need to get rid of. Okay, and there's really no way to tell who is ready for this. It just happens. It's amazing. And our readiness may have been gotten in other lifetimes, so no way even for us to know. So remember, friends, no limits. Anything at all is possible. Let that belief trump anything mind will bring up against it. Do what you can to stay with heart and leave mind and its workings aside, ignored more and more. When it comes to your spiritual path, mind is not your friend. It just makes problems where there are none and puts waking up off into the future after you earn it in some way. Stuff and nonsense. We are that. Now, there is nothing to earn, nothing to learn, and nothing to lose. Follow heart. It can't be said any simpler than that. When heart and mind clash, heart wins. That should do the trick.